Welcome back. Momentarily, we will be joined by my friend Regena Thomashauer, aka Mama Gena, the author of Pussy, a Reclamation, a New York Times bestseller, and the founder of Mama Gena's School of Womanly Arts. And we're going to be talking about taking the patriarchy out of business and replacing it with pleasure. So as soon as she lets me know that she's here, we're going to bring on Mama Gena. And Asian female entrepreneur just joined Origin. Welcome. So happy to have you. So as soon as Regena comes on, we're going to get this party started. I know that the title of this live, okay, so I'm going to see if Mama Gena is on. She is. Here we go. She's going to be here in a minute. I think it should work. Okay, she's of Mercury retrograde. So we might be having a little bumpiness here, but I promise it's going to be worth the wait. Okay, so Regena, I don't know if you can see this right now, but I just sent a request. Okay, she just joined. Awesome. I am going to send the request to join me on video again. Hi, Takesha. Hi, Danielle. Let's see if it'll work this time. Thank you, angels, for supporting us technologically to have this important conversation. Let's see. Regena, are you getting my... it says Mama Gena is unable to join. I do not know what to say about this. This is so frustrating. I don't know what to do. Okay, she sent a request to me. All right, let me try again. I'm not getting her requests and she's not getting my requests. Oh. There you are.
We did
it. Yay.
And actually, first of all, I love you so much and I'm so happy to be here and I love you so much. And I'm so happy to be with you. And I think one of the ways that you smash the patriarchy is you just are relentless and you just don't really let stop you. You just look at them as like a great opportunity to reascend.
Let's reascend, shall we? I love your
yes.
Leopard sweater or blouse or whatever is happening there. That's so nice.
Oh, listen. I have to show you one more leopard.
Whoa.
Look at this. Check this out.
Look at you. Hot stuff.
I know. For some reason, I thought you needed a full leopard
camo
today.
overalls.
Oh my God. I love camo. I love camo.
So for those who don't know Regena, I would love to introduce you to Regena Thomashauer, aka Mama Gena. She is the New York Times bestselling author of Pussy, a Reclamation, as well as Mama Gena's School of Womanly Arts and Mama Gena's Guide to Owning and Operating Men and others. She's the founder of Mama Gena's School of Womanly Arts, and this woman, and she has a curl that she is taming as we speak.
It's out of control, Kate.
It looks great.
I don't know what to do with it.
I walked into Regena's living room when I was 22, and I'm so grateful because I didn't know anything about anything. And in our culture, we don't have, in our culture, meaning in the United States, with the people I grew up around, we don't have initiation rituals for girls to become women. And I'm going to cry. And I got that from you. So thanks.
Yeah. It was so my honor. I fell in love with you.
My sister showed up
Was
first.
it you first or was it Annie first? Okay, first Annie, then you. And it was like, I was like, who is this fucking child superstar, like beautiful seed bursting with womanhood, brilliant, everything young woman. Like, what a joy. What a joy to have met you at that age. And like, I can't even tell you the joy of having tracked you through your 20s, right? And promised you, like, held space for the desire that is now your life. You know, because at one of the things that we can provide sister to sister, woman to woman, is to reflect back and hold space for those deep longings that are when, you know, when a woman has a desire, it feels so fragile. It feels so vulnerable. It feels so sometimes unattainable. And it's so important to have another woman say, yes, I see this for you. Yes, I see this with you. Yes, yes, this is already done. This is already, it is already happening. It is so done. So there is no greater, like just witnessing you, all you've created, those delicious girls, your husband. I don't even, I mean, you breathing fills my heart overflowing.
We could just breathe together.
We could just breathe together.
I'm going to be kvelling a lot. And so you know, I'm a crier, and I'm also luteal a few days before my period. So I'm an extra crier today.
Okay.
What you just,
and thank you. Thank
we
you
have,
to
we have a lot of heart
shooting
shooters.
the hearts.
We have a lot of heart shooters.
I love,
you know, it is like
I love
this
heart
little,
shooting.
like
It's
a little
really
explosion almost at all times. So what you just said, I think, is the perfect diving off point to this conversation, which is holding another woman's desire as possible. Now, and not only possible, done. So the backstory on this, and then I'll get to my point, is that I was with you in Miami, where I now live, you know, whenever it was, 100 years ago. and I was sort of terrified that I hadn't met my husband yet, which sounds so ridiculous now. I don't know. I was like 27 or something. I don't know. And you said to me, because that is your desire, it is in the bag. Like, because you are wanting it, it is yours. And you stood for that. And then you said, so given that that desire is in the bag, how much fun are you going to have? How could you savor your life now and leave no stone unturned in the meantime, knowing that that desire is done? And then I did. I just had so much fun dating. So thank you.
No, it was bigger than that. Well, first of all, like, I can remember talking to you and I can remember you were weeping again. And and I remember saying to you, like, okay, Kate, this is how good it is. I'm on the porch of your house in Maine, and we, with your husband, are toasting champagne, and the babies are sleeping. They're napping. And you were like, okay. And then you did like the ballsiest thing on earth, which is you decided you were, you know, dating and all that, and then you were like, fuck this, I'm hitting the road. And like the power of that desire to just, like, I think you called it the freedom tour, it just sucked Mike right into the vortex of your life, and there you were, and boom, it was, you know, the show was so on the road. And what I love about your story, and then also to have watched each iteration of your development and your bold standing for other women, like,
so thank you for bringing me back,
so
because the lie of the patriarchy is that there's not enough for everyone, especially if you're a woman. And so because we are already, like, the lie is we have to fight over a postage stamp of goodness because we were born
Yeah.
with this gender identity.
Yeah.
And you taught me through the practice of, through so many practices, but one of them through the practice of bragging, that when
Yeah.
we allow ourselves to witness and be in the good, the deliciousness of somebody, of another woman's
Mm-hmm.
enjoyment and pleasure, we actually
Mm-hmm.
get to have it
Mm-hmm.
too. At that same time, like how good it feels to
Yeah.
celebrate another woman's joy. So, can you give a brag,
Mm-hmm.
and then after you've given a brag, explain what that is? Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
This is going to be a surprising brag for you, but I'm going for it. I brag that I went on Monday to a
I saw
protest
that in your
in
stories.
New York City. Okay, on behalf of Stephen Donziger, who is the human rights attorney who is in the process of trying to get the settlement from Chevron to repair the damages that Chevron did to Ecuador, to the indigenous people there, to the rainforest, to the Amazon, destroying life there. And he is he's been under house arrest for 600 days because of Chevron and their hold on our judicial system and judges. And I got a really strong pussy hit to go to this trial because one of my sister goddesses told me that he'd read my book. And he loved it so much, and it opened his paradigm, and it sort of created a flow space for him where people started to stand for him in a powerful way. Marianne Williamson and AOC, and he mailed copies to 20 of his friends. So I was like, I got a strong pussy hit. Like, this is mine to do. I live in a country where we can protest, or we can use our bodies to stand for Earth, our mother. We can use our bodies to give voice to the things that are relevant and meaningful and of most importance to us. So I was able to do that, and it was so phenomenal to feel, to really take the privilege of what it means to live in this country and to stand strongly for a value that I support, which is I will go to the ends of the earth to protect this planet that we live on, and to support the divine feminine in all of her glory. So, and if anybody's listening and would like to experience this, you can go to the trial. They are not letting anyone record it or Zoom it, but it's all week at 500 Pearl Street in New York City, and it is quite worthy to stand for our brothers and sisters in Ecuador and for the rainforest.
So well bragged.
Yes. So that's my brag.
So beautiful.
Okay, I want to add a brag to that. Like, this was a gift my father gave me. He sent me to a woman's college because there was one of his patients, he was a psychiatrist, still went on protest marches in her 80s, and he hoped that I would become such like. And so I feel like, oh my God, I am living the roadmap that my father wished for me. I'm being an activist.
It's so good.
And
it's
here we go.
Good. So talk about a little bit. Okay, I will just reflect back that hearing that made me feel so good on a lot of different levels. Number one, standing for something that is a shared value of mine. Number two, you being a badass, showing up for things physically. Number three, that this lawyer guy is reading your book and sending it to all his, like, what? And then it allowed him to suck in some of the support for his desires. There's a lot there. And that was powerful. Yeah. So what is it about,
there's a lot
why is it that when we get out of the paradigm that there's not enough to go around, why is it that it feels so good to listen to other people celebrate themselves?
Because it's the truth. And it's kind of like this, like, the more of your radiance that you step into, it makes space for me to step into more of my radiance. The more of my radiance I step into, the more space not only for you, but for all of the women inside of our circles and their circles and their circles, so that when a woman takes her desires and lives them, when she takes her radiance, it doesn't make less space for others, it makes more space. And which is always what we want, right? We want to keep expanding the voice of women on this planet in our lifetimes. We want to expand the radiance of women. We want to expand the potential, not only for women, but for the girls of tomorrow. So each of us has this opportunity through celebrating ourselves and it's almost like it instantly transmits and translates into expanding the world for other women, and then of course the men and the children that surround them.
And one of the things I learned from you is how to create community where we celebrate each other. And that's like part of the bedrock, right? Where it's not about taking anyone down. It's about lifting one another up. And I learned that at Mama Gena's School of Womanly Arts, and we carry it through in my community Origin, and I'm so grateful for that. So
amazing. So how are you doing with let's say redesigning the paradigm of how you work, and truly doing less, truly enjoying the privilege of your aliveness while you're in the process of holding so much for your family, for your community?
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for asking me that question.
Going, lady?
It is a daily exploration. So the news from today is, here's what I found out today. This is pleasure research, right? I learned this from you. So as a pleasure researcher, what I have found out is that the more I do the thing that I want to do more than anything else in the world, the more I am magnetizing the right opportunities and the right people. And that thing for me, this does not have to be the case for everybody else, but that thing for me is dancing. And I have always known that, but I just I just became a mom, and I just stopped dancing because who has time? And I lived in Maine and whatever. And since I have come down to Miami, there's a lot more opportunity to dance. And I am getting messages now from people, Regena. We just opened doors to Origin yesterday. I'm getting messages from people saying, the reason I joined is because I saw you dance. And I realized I've been taking my life far too seriously, and I need to be around somebody like you who is not. So that's cool.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna. It's like so good. It's like so crazy good. I think we're just gonna have to
I do.
I think
we'll have to dance. Do you want to dance now, or should we dance at the end? Oh, we're dancing now. Yes. Yeah.
I don't know. Just.
Because pleasure is magnetic. Oh no, I just lost it.
Wait a minute. Why can't I shut it off? Lizzo, stop yourself.
You can't stop.
Okay. Oh my God. And look, the Nina is dancing from her tub. People are dancing with us, and it's always a good idea. Oh, yeah, Bohemia, Heart of Gold. Yeah. It's so great.
I'm
Mindset on
looking,
Purpose,
so
LJ
good.
Editor,
I'm
damn.
looking through the lens of what feels expansive, what feels relatively easy, knowing that, P.S., I don't think the point of life or business is for it to be easy, but what feels more in flow, and what feels like
Okay.
pressure versus what feels like, I don't know what the opposite of pleasure is, but I mean, pressure, but what's a good word for the opposite of pressure? Ease,
Ease,
flow, ease, flow.
flow.
Yeah. So I continue to do my research. We're in day 2 of a launch, and launches are, as we have talked about, they bring up all the dynamics. And you know Eliza Reynolds. So Eliza has been talking to me, and I'm interested in what your thoughts
Yeah.
are going to be on this, about threshold dynamics. So Eliza is a great studier of the nervous system. And I don't know if you know about threshold dynamics,
Yeah.
but for anybody who doesn't, threshold dynamics are what happens in our nervous system and in our bodies when we are entering new experiences. And if we think about birth as the ultimate threshold, and you may or may not know your own story of birth coming into the world, and you may not have actually given birth, but all of us have been involved in a birth, at least one, and they're
Yeah.
intense. I've never talked to anybody who has given birth who did not experience it as intense. And what comes up as we're stepping into birthing anything, whether it's a book or doing a program launch or whatever, is those threshold dynamics. So yesterday when I called Eliza and I was like, everything's terrible and it completely sucks and I'm terrible, all of those things, he reminded me, she was like, you're not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with you. In fact, nothing's wrong. This is threshold dynamic. I'm curious, Regena, what's your experience having birthed so much in the world, including your daughter and like 4 books or maybe 5 books, 4 books, and a million different times running Mastery? I mean, how many women went through Mastery with you? Do you know? About 5,000. Yeah. Okay. So
Probably about 5,000.
what's your experience around threshold
Yeah.
dynamics regarding your business specifically?
Wow. I think just like a birth, it helps to have sisters around. You need those midwives, those doulas, because they're just like, birth itself, you get to a moment where you really feel like you cannot go to that next step. You feel like you can't go on. And it's not going to be a man that's going to help you out there. They're so useful. I love them, but not at that particular moment. At that moment, it's to be able to do what you did. You called Eliza and you were like, girl, I'm losing my shit. And she was like, perfect. You're supposed to be losing your shit right now. Good. You're so on point. And I think that one of the things that's really key to build in, and I'm enjoying my moment to be able to remind you of this, to remind myself of this, to remind all of us of this, is to like build in time post delivery for recovery, so that you can do the self-care necessary to like find your way back to yourself. I think that's a part that women often shortchange because we are so conscious of like, oh wow, okay, so maybe I finished giving birth, but the other kids have to eat, or my family needs, somebody's got to go shopping, somebody's got to whatever, help so and so with his homework. Or in the case of a business launch, you're like, oh wow, okay, I launched the business, but now I've got to go pay attention to my kids that I've ignored, for the past 2 weeks. And so it's important to really just like bump up the self-care to an extreme state that seems over the top and beyond. Give yourself like another day off just with you, with like whatever your recovery is, whether it's jumping in the ocean, lying in the sun, getting body work, something, orgasms. That's my go-to.
So like
Orgasms.
very
They help.
reviving.
Very reviving. Yeah. And both somebody Heart of Gold is asking how to do it all, and you just have to do it all. You have to take a further stand for yourself than you have ever taken. So much so that you risk like seeming too greedy and too self-absorbed to others. But it's truly necessary. And I that lesson, you know, part of it, Kate, is like there aren't that you can't look to your mom's generation or your grandmother's generation for the intel on how to do this. There's been nobody in your family lineage that's been in the exact position that you are in, and certainly not mine either. So when you're breaking new ground, you have to look around and say, okay, who else might have a little, some kind of little helpful something or other, and then reach out
and grab that person. And also, and I would imagine, you know, you found this being such a pioneer, there's also a moment of like, oh shit, it's me. Right? So we look around, right? Like I call Eliza or I call you or I have my people, but there's also that like, oh, I'm the one supposed to be laying track in this particular area. Not all the areas, but certain areas. And I feel clear that I'm supposed to be laying track when it comes to reorganizing how we do business. Though I do not have all the answers on that, which is obvious.
Yeah.
So I'm learning and sharing and learning and sharing. Okay, so Regena.
Yeah.
You ran this pretty bionic events company for 15 years. Were you doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So and now and obviously you still run your company. You have online programs. You have a mastermind. You have things happening. What are some of the ways that you bucked tradition in terms of how you structured your company or how you worked with your team that were maybe not the way that they do things in corporate America?
Okay, that is such a good question. And here's the truth. Like, I never even like worked a day in corporate America. I have no idea. Looks, it would not have suited my nature. I am like a fire hydrant, a river, a volcano. I'm like an explosive. I could not have contained all the aspects of myself in somebody else's lane like that. I wanted to just find a space to live everything that I was and all my gifts and talents. But there was nothing about corporate culture that I knew, which I think there were pros and cons to. So it just made up my own design, and my team acted very much like, you know, a beautiful dysfunctional family, kind of like Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club meets Monty Python. Like, we were just a cast of eccentric, beautiful, touching, brilliant characters that were in support of this holy mission of sisterhood and setting pussies free. So I think it was maybe more like Burning Man than IBM. But
in my limited experience of, you know, the behind the scenes of your team. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah, I also never worked in corporate. So I remember calling my best friend from home. I needed to do a mail merge. I cannot remember why, but I remember like I had to call people who work in offices, you know, in companies, be like, how does one do these things that people do in offices all the time, but I have no information on?
Yeah. and yet that doesn't mean that I'm not capable of being like linear or extremely productive or able to like rock a task list like a rock star. You know, I can
How do you do
I
that?
can get a lot of shit done.
Yeah.
Uh, how? Um, I uh, I think what I've done is really use I need witnessing if I'm going to go through a lot of tasks that aren't my nature. Like so I'll get like a study buddy, a work buddy, and even go on Zoom and we'll both put in an hour of doing shit we hate to do. Because I find that when I have company, if I have to call an insurance company or make an appointment for a, I don't know, a colonoscopy or a doctor's appointment, like these things are really hard for me. Standing on a stage and teaching thousands of women is simple by comparison to that. So I've learned how to, that I need company when I'm doing tasks that are not my
That's
nature.
beautiful and brilliant.
How
And
do
you know,
you do it?
you're not alone in that. We actually implemented something in Origin recently called Do What Matters Co-working. So it's an hour a week, and our women are
Hmm.
it's game changing for them to have the company on Zoom.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's amazing.
yeah, yeah.
I One of the things that helps me a lot, this is so simple, is I just put my phone in my desk drawer. I'm just like, I'm an addict like everyone else. So if I put my phone in my desk drawer, I don't have the visual cue and then I don't pick it up and then I just get my shit done. So that's been really helpful. And the
Wow.
other thing that I do is, oh yeah.
And
Oh, great. I like
no,
that you're
keep going.
asking me
I've got a
questions.
quick
This is
question
fun.
for you after you tell me the other.
Usually when people come on, I ask them all the questions. So it's delightful. I
Yeah.
also organize my time according to my cycle. So I learned this originally from Elisa Vitti, and I do the thing that makes sense with the energy I'm feeling at the time that I'm feeling that way. So if I have a bunch of those like adulting tasks, like you said, to do, I do it in the 10 days leading up to my period because I know I'm going to be the most detail oriented. And the rest of the time, I literally cannot with that stuff. I'm like, can't somebody else be an adult for me? I just
Yeah.
want to dance.
Oh my
But I
God.
can batch it. And one of our
Yeah,
Origin
I get
members,
it. I
Darcy,
get it.
calls it the luteal list. She's like us, she's a doula. And she has a luteal list. So all throughout the month, she has all the ticky-tacky things she needs to get done. And she just marks them down so that when she's luteal, she just gets it focused. And for anybody who doesn't have a period for whatever reason, this time is the same energy as the waning moon. So in the few days up leading it towards the new moon, that's like the wrap it up energy and just bring all those things to a close. So I like to really lean on batching according to cyclical energy.
That is so sophisticated of you. I love
I
that.
am into.
I love it. You're in
Yeah,
tune.
it's like
It's
embodied
really good.
productivity.
It's really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about you and your cell phone
Oh,
and the girls and cell phones, okay? And just people and cell phones, because I find that if I pay attention to that thing, it actually shortens my attention span. Like the kind of reader that I am, I will like ingest books, like, I don't know, like some kind of beast, like a book eating beast. And if I am too much on social, I'll be like, I'll flip a couple pages and I'll be like, wow, I'm kind of done with that. Maybe I'll go to another book.
so
Oh, maybe I'll check my
interesting.
phone. You know, like, yeah, do you
I
have
do.
phone hygiene
Yeah. Oh,
with you
my
or
girls
your
can't touch
girls?
my
Like,
phone. We have a no phone. I'm you. I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm like pretty out there when it comes to health stuff. So regardless of like them with screen time, which I think is an issue, I don't want their bodies interacting with the EMFs. So I just am like, you can't touch my phone.
Yeah.
We actually don't let them be on an iPad either, because here's what I've noticed with my kids. When they watch something on a small screen, they lose it emotionally. But if they watch a show on TV and I turn it off after, they're fine. They move on to the next thing. But if they watch a show on a small screen and I turn it off, they lose their shit. So I saw that enough times. I was like, I don't know what's happening here, but it's not good. So my kids just don't touch technology so far. Yeah. Of course, you know, they're going to grow up in a world with computers. We'll figure it out. But my kids are only 3 and 5.5. So it's working so far. And for myself, for a long time, so here's the real, very trueness is that for a long time from December 18th until like end of March, I took Instagram off my phone and it was glorious. So I don't have Facebook on my phone. I took Instagram off my phone. Then there was nothing. I mean, there was my friends who text me, but that's like not all day, every day. And that's fine. It's not that kind of rope. And then what happened is something got screwed up with my Instagram and I lost all the features. So my team was like, you can't not have it on your phone. And now I'm like back in the loop and I don't like it and I don't feel good. And so this is definitely like, I like it better when I'm not doing it. And here we are on Instagram. So like, I also get the hypocrisy of that. I don't know. But that's a work in progress. But I don't. I turn off my phone by 8. Me too. I don't turn it on until like 7 in the morning. I plug it in the kitchen. It doesn't come in the bedroom. So I'm pretty. And then on the weekends, I don't do social. So it's a good start. Good. I also noticed that I have a super short fuse with my kids when I'm trying to do both. You know, and they're asking me relatively reasonable questions, even though it's like the 50th snack of the day, but I'll snap at them as I'm looking at something on my phone. I know that that's not my highest self. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Great. So looking ahead, Regena, your business looks really different than it did 5 years ago. And I'm curious, what do you desire? What do you desire in this next chapter for you of running your school?
Of running my school, etc. Okay. This is what I want. I love teaching. I am so insanely good at it. And I love how effortless it is for me. And I love the change and transformation that I can provide in women's lives and turning them on to their sensuality, their sexuality, their power, their freedom, their sisterhood, etc. So I want to design my business. Like I would love to have like a toe-to-toe collaborator, somebody that could handle the structure and that I could just show up and give my gifts and then go like and work like 15, 20 hours a week max. That would be the dream. I think that would be just blissful and so much fun. So I've been talking to like I've been attracting the most amazing people who could possibly be those kinds of collaborators. And in the meantime, working with my team to sort of titrate my involvement. And that's been going very well too. I'm actually taking 2 months off this summer, which is going to be, you know, I'm like, that's awesome. But like, what do people do when they take time off? Like,
you're going to devour books.
Because it's not right. I could devour books. I'm living at the beach now. I'm hoping to just kind of feel bored for a while. I'm hoping to go on adventures. I'm hoping to like have just like amazing, sensual, beautiful connections and experience, lots of orgasmic experiences both in my bed and outside of my bed. Like just, I want to fuel myself is my desire. So that's what I would love. And also like I've been thinking about my legacy, right? Like maybe for me, it's time to train the trainers, like really give these tools because the tools are fucking bulletproof. They are so damn good and create some way in which I could teach or train people to,
Yeah.
use them. So that could happen as well. I'm thinking about that. Or something even more outside of the box than I'm able to conceive of that will somehow kind of come into my eyesight or my vortex, something even more incredible.
It is
Because technology is
all of the
changing all the
time.
time.
It is changing all the time. Though I have to say, I'm very much looking forward to increasing in-person things because I think we all miss that. I mean, not necessarily
Yeah, for
that you're
sure.
going to provide them, but but just like for all of us to be able to hug and
Yeah.
because that aspect of like sensuality and embodiment and being with one another, so that like our God, it's a place.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. I'm totally down for that. If somebody produces an event for me, I will show up for it. And I was thinking like
I
Miami
have a
would be the
venue for
place.
you, should you want to
It
do
would.
that.
Really? Like I've always
Place.
used a convention center down there. I love it.
It's so good. I will. I'll text
Tell
you.
me
I'll
about
text
it.
you.
Well,
Okay.
or
I
offline.
want to say probably like 100.
How many does it hold?
Maybe that's not big. You like 5,000
That's not
people.
enough. I like big.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I
Like
mean,
the whole thing.
if
Okay.
I'm gonna show up, I want to like.
Yeah, I'll tell you anyway.
All right,
If you're
but
ever
I
gonna
still
do
want to
like
know.
something. So Regina, I know you already know this, but I just want to reflect back. Like that is in the bag. Done.
Aww.
From your lips
Aww.
to the goddess's ears.
Thank
She's
you.
handling it right now.
Oh, thank you, baby. Thank you.
I love you so much.
That means everything to me.
I'm so grateful for you.
Yeah.
So if you're listening here and you haven't already connected with Regina, follow her at Mama Gena, buy her book, Pussy, A Reclamation, and all the other things. And of course, if you're tuning in and you've been thinking about joining Origin and you want to take the patriarchy out of your business, check out Origin as well. We're opening doors until next Thursday.
Oh wow, your cart's staying
We're
open
doing
until
more of a
next
slow waves as a. So this is
Okay.
one of the ways I'm practicing.
Great.
Like how could launching feel more like an extended massive orgasm than push, 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 explode?
I like it.
So practice.
Okay. And tell me your 3 favorite things about Origin
So
that people will
one
just
of the things
love.
that I love about Origin that we just made this shift is that what has come to my attention over the last 18 months is that we do things habitually, either self-sabotage wise or positive behaviors, because our bodies have an entrainment to do them that way based on past experiences. And so much of the entrepreneurial world, at least the personal growthy entrepreneurial world, is about mindset work. And I have found that our mind is not really the place where true lasting shifts take place. So in Origin, we now have 2 sessions every month. One is a body first, business second session, and the other one is a central nervous system healing session for entrepreneurs so that you can get yourself more into a regulated state and make business decisions and take action from wholeness as opposed to as a trauma response. I'm really excited about that. That's
amazing.
Huge. Those are not taught by me. Those are taught by an amazing woman named Takesha August and another amazing woman named Tel Darden. So then the second thing that I love about Origin is an outcropping of that, which is that we are really forming this council. For me personally, the model of I'm the one with all the answers really stresses me out. And I'm sure that has to do with my own childhood.
Yeah.
But it's true. So we are creating this amazing council with Takesha and Tel and a woman named Jessica, where origin is not me. Origin is about the collective wisdom and everybody being able to swim in the collective. Like, I'll lead and I'll orchestrate and I'll, put the checkout thing together. But like, yeah. And then the third thing is working with our inherent cyclical nature to use our bodies as the blueprint for our businesses, as opposed to, something somebody learned in an MBA program that they just made up with their mind. Yeah. So there you go. Thanks for asking.
I love it.
I appreciate you.
Great.
Should we dance it out?
Likewise. Do you want to? That's what I was thinking.
Okay, please.
I have something.
You be DJ. I'm going to get up. Everybody dance with us. Thank you for being here. And if you want to know about Origin, you can go to origincollective.com. Thank you. Okay. Perfect.
It's a little nasty, but it's really fun.
Nails, hair, hips, heels, ass, fat, lips, real, purse, full, big bills, bitch, I'm a big deal. Legs, face, eyes, then waist, thick thighs, you, me, you, wish, new phone, who, this, pussy, puss, give 'em cut, bitch, mama, yes, God, then you pop that tongue, bitch, this whole club is my runway, run, bitch, y'all, 5, 4, 3, 2, so I'm a one, bitch, girl, what did that girl just say, girl? Girl, I don't dance, I work. I don't play, I slay. I don't walk, I strut, and then sashay. Okay. But I don't work for free. No, that's not the key, hunty. No, so make it rain on me, and I might let you see. What you gonna let them see? My nails, hair, hips, heels, nails, hair, hips, heels, nails, hair, hips, heels, nails, hair, hips, heels. My nails, hair, hips, heels, nails,